It's 2004 and things are pretty good. I'm 18, I just got out of high school in my second semester of college, and overall life's great. Until one day my brother starts getting me to question my religious upbringing. I was raised Catholic, and around the same time I started to learn about what peak oil is. Peak oil is a theoretical point where oil production peaks, but oil consumption continues to rise, and then civilization falls apart and everyone kills each other. So I started to become really afraid about my future and life in general and society in general, because I've really bought into the whole peak oil concept, and I really don't know now what happens when I die, which is pretty scary. 2005, it's been about a year since I first started worrying about peak oil and all those other things. So I take a trip out to Portland, Oregon to visit some friends, and we're at a company picnic, and I'm waiting to go on this roller coaster, and I just start feeling this pressure in my chest. And I said, you know, I'm just gonna sit this one out. And that was the first inkling of anything wrong. Shortly thereafter, I returned home and Hurricane Katrina hit. We're all familiar with that.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
And as a result, the gas prices spiked. And I thought that was it. I thought, all right, society's over, I'm screwed. My anxiety really started to go up from there. A few months after that, I found out that my cat of 16 years that I got when I was 6 had cancer. And that was just a cat, but having a pet that long, it's like having a family member get cancer. So that was pretty rough. 2006, I'm now working for a construction company, and as a result of Hurricane Wilma hitting Florida, I got called to do a generator installation for a very large corporation, billion-dollar corporation, which was a lot of stress for 20-year-old me. Throughout that job and throughout the year of 2006, I started having more and more like chest pains and skipped heartbeats and all those other fun things that come along with anxiety. I go to the doctor, I get an EKG, echocardiograph, Holter monitor, you name it, I got it, and they're all like, you seem fine to me. They should have told me I had anxiety, but I digress. And then one fateful night, I'm driving home and my heart skips a beat super hard, to the point that it scares the living crap out of me. I start flying home. I'm literally going about 50, 60 miles an hour down a 35-mile-an-hour road, hoping the police would pull me over so that I could get medical help. I end up home, and my dad, in his infinite wisdom and lack of emotional empathy, pulls out a book that has all these symptoms in it and what could be wrong, and he looks it up and says, oh, of course, you're having a panic attack. How silly. All you need to do is eat better and exercise. And in that moment, it's definitely not what I needed, and didn't really help any. So fast forward to the spring of 2007, I'm just finishing up the big job for the big company. My stress level is okay. I'm not having quite as much trouble with the heart skipping and all that. Shortly after that job's over, my cat dies in my hands of a seizure from the cancer spreading through her body, which was mildly to moderately unpleasant. A little while after that, I started dating my first girlfriend, and things seemed okay. I mean, overall, life was pretty good. I started my first real corporate job on September 11th, and then 2 days into that job, I was building my computer for my workstation, and I cut my hand open. Very minor, tiny little cut, barely even bled, but for some reason, I got lightheaded, and I got dizzy. I had to sit down. It was a little weird, but I got through it. But the day after that, on September 14th, I went for lunch, and I was standing in the subway. That subway. And they were talking about poking a needle in someone's head for some surgical procedure on the TV in the store. And I felt like I almost fell over. Got dizzy and like lost my balance. And I had to run out of the restaurant. And my friend Alec, who was working with me at the time, had to go back and get the sandwiches because I was too freaked out. And that's when all hell broke loose.